It should be obvious to any thinking person that the excuse given by the U.S. for closing the Chinese consulate in Houston doesn't hold water. It has nothing to do with spying on corporate or medical secrets and everything to do with ratcheting up tensions with the PRC to serve Trump's partisan political interests as the U.S. presidential election nears. Trump is between a rock and a hard place. His bungling of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic has set off a cascade of political obstacles for him to overcome. The crises that have befallen the U.S. as a result are unprecedented. The healthcare crisis brought on by COVID-19 has spawned an economic crisis, with the U.S. entering into a prolonged period of economic downturn. A social crisis brought on by systemic racism, police brutality, and the social dislocation of unemployment and bankruptcies, and an education crisis with 1/5 of American teachers quitting in light of unsafe conditions within the schools while the pandemic continues to spread unabated. Trump's poll numbers have tanked, as one should expect. It's amazing that he can retain any support, given that this has all occurred under his watch. Rather than make America great again, he is presiding over its decline and fall. The prospect for Trump's re-election is therefore quite dim, and his failures should result in the U.S. Senate being taken over by the Democrats as well. As it is a foregone conclusion that the Democrats will retain the House, it is more likely than not that they will control all levers of state power. The only thing standing in their way is a conservative Supreme Court, packed with Republican jurors. But even there, their hold on power is equivocal. Trump, however, realizes that if he cannot win, neither can he lose. For if he does, he will be subject to relentless prosecution by his political foes, without the protection of the presidency to shield him. Thus, he is waging a slash-and-burn strategy to try and salvage whatever advantages he still possesses. Perhaps the best bet for him is to go the whole hog in attacking China. China has become the bête noire of U.S. politics. The blame game is in full swing, and everything that has gone wrong for Trump can be laid at its doorstep, no matter how twisted the narrative has become. His get tough on China charade has forced the Democrats to follow suit, to demonstrate that they haven't gone soft on China, as Trump alleges. But the spurious charges leveled against China are specious at best. The closing of the Chinese consulate in Houston is a case in point. U.S. embassies and consulates abroad are notorious for being nests of CIA operatives who use their positions to foment U.S.-backed color revolutions and aid and abet fifth-column dissidents out to further U.S. interests. To accuse Chinese diplomats of espionage is the height of hypocrisy. The Chinese are conducting themselves no differently than they have over the last 35 years, so why shut their consulate down now? It's obviously a political ploy to heighten tensions, hoping that it will redound in Trump's favor. China did not initiate the tit-for-tat policy now being implemented by both sides. China's actions across the board have been in response to the aggressive posturing of the U.S. and its allies. Trump, however, sees an aggressive posture towards China as one of the few cards he has left to play, so he is leaving no stone unturned in doing so. No matter who wins in November, however, expect a retreat from the brink, as the U.S. has too many of its own wounds to lick.